All right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. For today's workout, we've got a nice spicy 5-rounder for you here. We're going to be doing 5 rounds of 10 chest to bar pull-ups, 10 dumbbell power snatches, and 10 dumbbell goblet squats. Super simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. And we may be looking at this thinking, I don't have a pull-up bar. Even if I did, that seems kind of hard. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm up. Here we go, guys. Let's get some arm circles going back, arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's switch to arm circles forward. And one of the ways I've been privileged to help you guys live your best life is through the Habit Master Challenge. And if you've been logging points and earning badges, certainly you've been seeing the results in your life. Let's move on to arms across the chest, hug yourself, love yourself. And let's hear first from a habitual Habit Master winner, Betty Boop. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from. How has logging these points and earning these badges helped you to stay on track?
Yeah, I'm Maggie from South Florida, and the Habit Master has really helped me to stay on track. We have 5 things that we want to achieve in a day, and it's like a to-do list, and I want to check them off one at a time. They're all important to stay healthy, and so I like it. I have my printed form, and I love checking them off, and then at the end of the list, I write down with if I got 5 or not. And you know that I can't mark them off all yet because I haven't finished my 100 ounces of water, but I'll have it in by the end of the day. So I love the Habit Master. Thanks, Coach.
And I'm sure you'll get it too. So thank you so much, Betty Boop. And let's go ahead and move on to the wrist wave here. And while we're doing the wrist wave, let's hear from Reb. Go ahead, Reb, say your name, where you're from, and how has the Habit Master Challenge helped you to stay on track?
Hey, I'm Reb in Chicago. It's helped me because I tend to always have the workouts on my mind. I know I need to do that, but it's good to have the reminder of doing these other things too to stay healthy.
Most definitely. You know, the barbells and the burpees, they're a great motivator to get us started, but we want to get a return on that investment, all the sweat equity that we're putting in. And so supplementing that with our water and with our sleep, super important. Let's go ahead and move on to some high knees. High knees into chest, or if it works better, we could do some high elbows like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from. How has the Habit Master Challenge helped you to stay on track?
Hi, my name's Renee Hill from Georgia. The Habit Master Challenge helped me to stay focused because I see all the habits I need to work on. So in the beginning of the day, I'm trying to focus to get at least get something to check something off to make it to make it a focus of mine to at least do something. And then I keep trying to work more and more throughout the month to make it more to build up what I have worked on.
And it's definitely easy to get distracted throughout the day. And it's good to have a system to keep us focused on what's most important, just like you are. So thank you so much, Mighty Mouse. Let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we could do some wrist extensions like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Twin One. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from, how has the Habit Master Challenge helped you to stay on track?
Hi, I'm Denise in New York. The Habit Master Challenge has helped me to bring, sometimes you like get off track, and having that reminder of checking those, marking those X's of what you need to do for the day definitely helps, because sometimes I get busy and I forget to do something, and then later on I'm like, oh, I didn't do this for this day. I'm gonna have to work on it better for the next time or for the next day and next week. I like to build on my habits. I can't do anything like everything at once. So it definitely has helped me with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your great example, showing us that it's important to just turn the page. Some days we know that we're better than others in certain categories, but we just pick up where we left off and make every day a new day. Let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks, or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. And so this Habit Master Challenge is available to anyone who gets on track. When you get on track, you get access to the full program, all the workouts, all the community, all the accountability to stay consistent in everything we do, both inside and outside these workouts. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me for details. Let's go ahead and take a break from this warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is going to have a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first thing we're going to do is the pigeon, and let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate the pigeon for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the pigeon is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's sink into the pigeon on this side. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying face down. We're going to get one leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we are sinking into this pose, which helps us to improve our squat positioning. In the squat, we always talk about chest up, shoulders back, knees out to the side. That's what we're actively improving here. And let's go ahead and switch sides here. We're going to get the other leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we are sinking into the pose on this side. And this pigeon is one of the most important activations that we do in this program. It activates the glutes, relieves issues that might be going on with the IT band, and it's one of the best ways to help us to get deeper and more comfortable in the squats that we feature regularly because it's such a functional movement. Next, we're going to do some Supermans, and let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 Supermans for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the Superman is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 Supermans together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We've got the arms forward, legs back, and we are raising those arms and those legs, and we're holding the top there for about 2 seconds before going back down, and dialing in this arch position is super important for us for a lot of the things that we do in this program. So good job on these Supermans. Next, we're going to do some plank rows, and let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate 2 plank rows on each arm for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the plank rows are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 plank rows together. Now it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit hard on our wrists, in which case that's fine. We could do this off of an inclined surface, just like we see Betty Boop doing over here. We could do this off of a counter or off a sofa or even off the wall. We're in a nice inclined plank position, rowing that fist back into that chest, pointing the elbow behind us. But if we're doing this off the ground as prescribed, then we're in a good plank position there, not piking and not sagging. So we are squeezing that gut, keeping the core nice and tight, and also avoiding a bunch of twisting and turning, keeping the shoulders and the hips square with the ground as we row that fist into the chest. So good job on these plank rows. Next, we're going to do some air squats, and let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 air squats for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the air squat is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 air squats together. So on the air squat, we're going to have those feet shoulder width apart, and we are going to have the chest up, shoulders back. We're going to initiate by sending those hips back and down, pushing the knees out to the side throughout the movement until we get the hips below the knees. And then we're going to squeeze those glutes until we get back to a fully standing locked out position with those shoulders back at the top. And it could be that getting those hips all the way down below the knees is a bit of a challenge for us, in which case we could do some assisted squats. We can sit and stand to a chair or to a footstool until we get all the way back up. And with time, we can use lower and lower targets for assistance. So good job here on these air squats. Next, we're going to do some good mornings. And let's have Betty Boop demonstrate 2 good mornings for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those good mornings are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 good mornings together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We're going to fold those arms across the chest. We're going to have those feet close together underneath the hips. And we are going to send those hips back as we get that chest just about parallel with the ground. And then we're going to squeeze the glutes until we get back to a fully standing locked out position with those shoulders back at the top. So good job here on these good mornings. What I'd like everyone to do now is let's go ahead and grab a light dumbbell if you have one. And by light, I mean 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. If we don't have a light dumbbell, then anything light will do. It could be a shoe. It could be a pillow. It could be a teddy bear. Whatever the case, it's got to be super light because we always go light before we go heavy, if at all. So with this light dumbbell in hand, we're going to do some single arm deadlifts with that dumbbell between the feet. And let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate 2 reps of that single arm deadlift for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those single arm deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 deadlifts together, 5 on each arm. So a couple things to keep in mind. at the start of the deadlift. That object is going to be on the ground in between the feet. And we're going to have those hips super low, chest up, shoulders back, and we're looking straight ahead. And we're going to take a deep breath in, driving the ground away until we get to a fully standing, locked out position with the shoulders back at the top. And then, of course, we're going to brace that core on the way down as well. So good job here on these deadlifts. And finally, we're going to do some strict press. Let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps of the strict press for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that strict press is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the strict press together, 5 on each side. So a couple things to keep in mind here. We have that dumbbell on the shoulder, and we've got that elbow pointing forward, and we're going to press that arm up and back until we get that bicep into the ear, and we're going to lower it slowly on the way down, elbow pointing forward the whole time. And we're going to hit 5 on one side before switching and then doing 5 on the other side. And so good job here on this strict press. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 3 moves that we're doing in today's workout. The first move is chest to bar pull-ups, which look like this. So as we can see, this is a high skill body weight movement in which we've got a pull-up bar, and we're starting from a fully hanging locked out position, pulling ourselves up until that bar touches the chest, or at least below the collarbone. Now, it could be that we don't have a pull-up bar, so many of us are actually going to do Renegade Rows instead, or bent over rows. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and grab that dumbbell, and we're going to practice the Renegade Row. And this is also a good warm-up, even if we do have a pull-up bar. So with the dumbbell in hand, let's go ahead and have twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps of the Renegade Row on each arm. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the Renegade Row is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the Renegade Row on each arm. Now, it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit of a challenge on the wrist, especially if we were doing that plank row from an inclined position in the warm-up, in which case we might want to do bent over rows using a bench or something along those lines. It could be a chair. It could be anything that we could get a knee and a hand on. And we're going to be looking straight ahead like this, rowing that dumbbell into the chest. And we're actually going to do all the reps on one side before switching, and then doing the reps on the other side. But if we're doing this off the ground as prescribed, then we're in a nice tight plank position, and we are not piking or sagging. And we are supporting the ground with the other flat hand, alternating, going back and forth, rowing that dumbbell into the chest. Now, if you do happen to have a pull-up bar like Reb, at this point, we're feeling pretty warmed up to hop up to that thing. And what I'd like you to do is at least hang from the bar right now and do a couple of what we call scat pull-ups, where you just shrug the shoulders up and down. And then if needed, you can do a couple assisted pull-ups where you would put your toes on a stool or a chair or some type of box behind you. But if you happen to be able to just knock out a strict pull-up or two, even without assistance, then we can go for that as well. And we're gonna do a couple strict pull-ups before we would do any attempts at kipping or butterfly or things like that. And so good job on these pull-ups. The second move we're doing in today's workout is the power snatch with the dumbbell. And so let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the power snatch for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that power snatch is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the power snatch together. So on the power snatch, that dumbbell is going to start on the ground in between the feet. And we're going to have the hips super low, chest up, shoulders back. And we are going to use the legs to power this up. We're going to jump and punch that dumbbell back overhead, getting that bicep into the ear, making sure that we are standing and locking it out to finish. Now, this could be a lot of jumping and landing for us. If we're trying to manage our impact, then we don't necessarily need to jump and land. We can do what's called the muscle snatch, which is where we are hitting this snatch without the jump and the land. And we're still powering this with the legs, but with less jump and punch under. But good job here on these power snatches. The third move that we're doing in today's workout is goblet squats. So let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the goblet squat for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that goblet squat is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the goblet squat together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are holding this object at the upper part of the chest, and then we are squatting super low, getting those hips below the knees, pushing the knees out to the side to help us to get deeper. And then we are standing it up to finish. And notice Reb's breathing. We're taking a nice deep breath in on the way down, racing through the move, breathing out at the top. That's what's going to help us to hit big sets and not get tired out too quick. Now, if we were doing some assisted squats in the warm-up, then we can continue to do that here as needed. We can sit and stand to a chair or to a footstool or whatever is needed. And then with time, like we mentioned, we can use lower and lower targets for assistance. The longer we do this program, and especially the more consistent we are with our flexi time. So good job on these goblet squats. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been doing this program long enough to start earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight, then let's start to gradually add a little bit of weight, doing 4 to 6 practice reps at a time of both the power snatch and the goblet squat until we get to the weight that we want to use for our division. And there's no need to rush this. We have plenty of time to do at least 2 to 4 practice sets leading up to the weight that we want to use. But if we have not been earning badges, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just using in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. Seriously. It's very important for us to have the right form and consistency with all our habits. as evidenced by earning that badge, before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. I know you have a much better taste in music than I do, but the great thing is you don't have to listen to my music. You can listen to your music. You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 5-round workout. The rounds are going to be flying along with those dumbbells. It's easy to lose track of where we are, who we are, what we're doing. So let's have some type of system in place to help us to know where we are without getting lost. Something that helps with that is having the workout written down close by. So if you're a teacher's pet, like Mighty Mouse, winning the Teacher's Pet Award first to the screen, and we've got Betty Boop with the Whiteboard Art Award, and you can tell by the face there, she's super excited for this one. And we've got Reb with the Notepad Award, and then Twin One with the Multiple Color Award, and a nice big scorecard today. Let's go ahead and take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer. And we're about to do this Fit Crew workout of 5 rounds of 10 chest to bar pull-ups, 10 dumbbell power snatches, and 10 goblet squats. So for most of us that don't have a pull-up bar, we're going to be doing 10 renegade rows or bent over rows on each arm to start off each round. So we're going to be, just remember that detail, 10 renegade rows on each arm is going to equal the 10 pull-ups that we are doing at the start of each round. But then once we get into the snatches, that's going to be 10 snatches total. So that's going to be 5 on each side there. And then 10 goblet squats, of course, to finish each round. And if we do happen to have a pull-up bar, then let's use whatever level of assistance that we need. If we happen to need a chair or a stool to push our toes off for assistance, that's completely fine as well. If we happen to have a set of rings and we want to do ring rows, then that's another option. So your score is going to be the time it takes to get through these 5 rounds of 10 renegade rows on each arm, 10 power snatches total, 5 on each arm, and 10 goblet squats. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get this going. I'm going to highlight Twin One to get us going after our 10-second countdown. So here we go, guys. 5 rounds, 10 renegade rows on each side or 10 chest to bar pull-ups, 10 power snatches total, 5 on each arm, and 10 goblet squats. 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off on these renegade rows on each arm. Or if we happen to be doing the bent over rows, then we're doing 10 on one side, followed by 10 on the other side. Now, if we have this pull-up bar and we're going for it, then let's definitely do good, smart sets here. We don't want to go to failure. So maybe if we need to do sets of 2s, 3s at a time until we've done all 10, that's a strategy we can follow. But we are getting through these 10 pull-ups or 10 rows on each side here. Before moving on to these power snatches. So good work here so far, guys. We already got Mighty Mouse on these snatches. Using a nice big weight. I don't even have to tell you anything different, Mighty Mouse. You know what to do. And we got Twin One making her way onto these snatches as well. So deep breath, hitting that jump and that punch. Hitting that jump and that punch. Betty Boop as well. Going to town on these snatches. And let's keep that head up. There you go, Betty Boop. Especially at the bottom of the snatch there. We want to keep that head up. That's going to help keep the back nice and straight. So we want that chest up, shoulders back, especially at the bottom of the rep to avoid getting a rounded back. But we are pushing off the ground with those legs, hitting that jump, hitting that punch, locking it out, standing to finish at the top. We got Mighty Mouse already onto these goblet squats, hitting the single dumbbell curls there for the squats. Twin One, getting super low, getting the hips below the knees. Deep breath in to brace that core each time. Breathing out at the top. The big breathing here, always it's what's going to help us to drive that performance. So let's control that breathing. In on the way down, out on the way up. Get a nice steady oxygen flow that helps us to brace where we need to. And we got Mighty Mouse on to round 2. We've got Twin One as well on to round 2. And we got everyone on track to finish within today's target window. And these target windows are the best guide to challenge ourselves appropriately and to measure our progress through this program. And how did the target windows work? Well, when we first start out, we're not adding any weights. We're doing nothing more than the flex weights and movement options. But then, as we start earning badges, we can start to use some of the scaled weights and movement options. And as we finish within the target windows with those, we can move on to the intermediate weights and options. And as we finish within the target windows with those, we can move on to the RX weights and options. And everyone's journey to RX is different. It could take weeks, months, or years. And honestly, sometimes it just depends on the workout. But if we use the target windows as a guide, we are continuing to challenge ourselves where we need to, but still pick options that help us move and hit the intent of the workout. So we are deep into round 2 or even starting round 3. Nice work here, guys. Let's keep moving. And let's remember, we can mix and match options. If we know that, hey, I want to challenge myself a little bit on a more challenging movement, maybe we can start off each set with that and then maybe switch to something that helps us to move. Definitely lots of flexible options here. Twin One, finishing off round 2, getting low on those squats, controlling that breathing. Getting low, full depth, full extension. And Mighty Mouse deep into the snatches on round 3. She is on fire. Hitting these snatches. Getting through this. Betty Boop onto these squats in this round. Let's remember to keep the chest up there, Betty Boop. What might help with that is keeping your elbows up. And we got Reb getting low on those squats. Moving on to the next round here, we got Twin One as well. Moving on to the next round. Mighty Mouse moving too fast through these squats here, but using a heavy dumbbell. So nothing we can do about that. She's just a ninja. She's getting super fit, super fast. And Reb choosing to do some rows here in order to help finish within the target window. And we always love our furry friends. There goes a cameo from Kirby. Watching Twin One, making sure she's hitting the full range of motion on those reps. And let's remember on these Renegade Rows to keep those hips down, keep that core nice and tight. It's very easy, especially once we get tired, to pike that up. But we want to keep that nice tight plank position. Getting through these snatches, keeping it close to the body, hitting that jump, hitting that punch, getting under it. Standing up to finish. But nice work here, guys. Mighty Mouse making her way through what looks like round 4, about to get ready to make it around the corner to round 5 here. Twin One also moving super steady, getting low on these squats. Reb as well, moving through these squats, breathing through it. Awesome work here. Let's do it. Let's do it. And a number of us getting into that last round. And we know what to do as we finish. We hit that buzzer, we yell time, we cheer on our family. So let's keep that plank nice and tight through the Renegade Rows. Let's do what we gotta do on these movements. Rev getting a little bit creative with the assisted pull-ups here. And I like how that option is safely secured and not moving. So always safety first. Betty Boop getting low on these squats. Let's keep pushing the knees out to the side. Getting low. Standing that all the way up. Mighty Mouse making her way through these snatches. And then about to move on to the last set of curls for the goblet squats. Let's keep moving. Let's dig deep here. We are making our way toward the end. Twin One about to hit some snatches. Reb on some snatches. Betty Boop on this next round of rows. And here goes Mighty Mouse, just a couple reps away from the finish line. And there she goes across the finish line with a little victory dance. And let's cheer on our family here, guys. We got Reb flying through some squats. We got Twin One flying through some squats. Betty Boop on these snatches, keeping it close, punching that back, getting that arm into the ear.
You got this, guys. You got it.
Nice work, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Betty Boop moving super fast, about to hit these squats here. And we got Twin One almost done. Reb as well, getting into what looks like the last round. Betty Boop on these squats. Let's keep getting low. Let's keep moving well. Reb going to town on these snatches. Keeping the hips low, eyes up, in order to keep that back nice and straight. And there goes twin one. Almost done with the rows on this round. Betty Boop getting into what looks like the last round. So nice work there, Betty Boop. Getting low, standing that up. Twin one, making her way toward the finish line. Every single rep, getting those hips low, using the power of the legs to punch that out. Jumping it up, punching it back. Betty Boop also going super fast on these snatches. And we got twin one squatting, racing toward the finish. Couple more reps from twin one. And there she goes across the finish line, and we got Betty Boop as well across the finish line. Rev sneaking across the finish line a couple minutes ago, but good job there, Rev. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, that was super exciting as always. And now we're at the best part, which is the cool down stretch. This stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to do today is the saddle eagle, and it's helpful to start the saddle in a kneeling position like this, and we're going to sit back toward those heels. If we can't sit all the way back, if this is all we got, hey, that's cool. But if we could sit all the way back, that's awesome as well. And then the eagle part of the stretch is where we get one elbow on top of the other like this. And of course, if we're doing this from the seated position, we're doing just the eagle part of the stretch like this. And while we're doing this, let's reflect on the workout. Let's do some high-low buffalo. So, high. What is one thing you feel you did well in the workout today? Low. What is something you want to do better the next time it shows up? And buffalo. What is something surprising about the workout today? Let's go ahead and switch positions here. Let's get the other elbow across. And while we're doing this, let's hear first from Reb. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're just switching that elbow around. But what is your high-low buffalo, Reb?
Right. My high is pushing myself to do as many pull-ups as I could. Low is I need to know when to switch to assisted pull-ups because it brought me over time. I was taking too long. And the buffalo is how easy the squats were because it was like a break compared to the pull-ups.
And that's how you know that it's a really spicy combination. Anytime you're looking forward to some weighted squats, that means, yeah, there's definitely stuff in there that's challenging us and pushing us. Let's go ahead and switch to the pigeon. So we're gonna get one leg up and across the chest, other leg back. So same pigeon that we did earlier, except I want to challenge you to get that front leg up just another inch or two higher than before. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Betty Boop. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're now actually going to get the one elbow up and pull to the side like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Betty Boop?
Oh my. The high were the squats. The low was the fact that we had to do 10 each on each arm of the Renegade Rows. I had to go down and wait, otherwise the video would have still been playing with with everyone rooting me on. I think I would have been out of target. And my buffalo, I'm just glad I got it done. I'm glad to be here. I don't have really nothing. What surprised me? I think the fact that I had to change those weights, that surprised me. Yeah. But thank you, Coach. It was a great workout.
And thank you. It's always good, of course, to be aware of where we're at and to make wise choices in order to help us to hit the intended stimulus. And let's go ahead and switch to the other side of this pigeon here. We got the other leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we're sinking into the pigeon on this side. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're getting the other elbow up and across the chest or overhead. What's your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was the power snatches. I didn't have a low, but my buffalo was doing the Renegade Row differently than I normally do. I wanted to go heavier, but I haven't got there yet. It was a challenge, but I'm working on it.
And work on it you did, but I'm glad that we always throw some stuff at you and you're able to rise to the challenge. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. Let's go ahead and hit this sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take this selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys, and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fists in the middle for the cheer. So, on 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Fit crew!
Fit crew. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.